Welcome, my name is Stefan. I'm one of the developers of the Just Trains Railjet Advanced, and this is the third part of our tutorial videos. In this part we will take a closer look at the product, and I'm going to show you first of all how to put together a consist in the correct order. So we are here on the 3-country corner route, and we are in the scenario editor. So if you're someone who likes to create their own scenarios, this should help you putting it together correctly. So first, what we need to do is to go to the filter, go up here, scroll down until you see RailWorks Austria 2 and tick the box. And this will activate the Railjet plus all 26 repaints of the Taurus locomotive. I don't need that anymore. So let's start off here with the locomotive. Now, before we start, Railjet units are fixed units. They put together in a factory and they cannot be uncoupled. The only thing that can be uncoupled is the loco itself. Should it break down, they can swap them round, but the actual unit itself is fixed. So all Railjet trains point into the same direction. If you create a scenario, just remember that the driving trailer always points to the east. On the 3-country corner route, this means that all driving trailers always point to St. Anton, and all the locos point towards Lindau. And so this is what we're going to do now. So I've selected the locomotives. If you go to O for ÖBB, you see all these locos here, which are all the Taurus locomotives included in the package. What I would say is we put together let's do just a standard Railjet. So here we are, 116200 Railjet. That's the standard locomotive for the Railjet. Select that and put that here. We go to the carriages. Once again, go to O for ÖBB, and the first carriage after the loco is BMPZ1. You can see there are different ones depending on which Railjet you put together. The standard one has just that name. I'll put that here because I want to show you something. This carriage is different on either side. You see on this side there's a normal standard coupling, whilst on this side there's this pathway, if you like, to the next carriage. So make sure that when you put that on the tracks, that this side points to the locomotive. So this is the economy class carriage, as it's called. The next one is BMPZ2 again, and BMPZ3, and to scroll down a bit, BMPZ4. So this is the economy class taken care of. The next carriage is a sort of like a buffet car. I'm going to talk about that more in a minute. It's called ARBMPZ. There we are. So again, make sure they're pointing in the right direction. Then we have a business class car, which is called AMPZ. So it's this one here. And then finally, we're at the other end, so we need to change back to locomotive, and we're looking for the driving trailer, which is called AFMPZ 8090. And again, we use the standard version. Right. And this is a standard Railjet unit. So we would now put a driver symbol on it. I don't know which way you want to drive. I'll just put it on the locomotive for now, and that'll be fine. Now with the locomotive, as mentioned before, be aware that cab 1 points backwards. So again, make sure that this is the case. You can normally see it by the paint job they've done. You can see the orange line comes up here and runs in a continuous line backwards. So if that's the wrong way around, just turn the loco around. Now, very often these units are doubled up. So what would happen then is we do exactly the same thing again, including the locomotive, and just attach it to the back here. So we would now choose, let's say, the 175 years locomotive, and then go back to the carriages, and again start with the BMP-Z1. Here we are, 175, and then carry on in the same way, and that way we have a double unit. Right, we are now in game, and this is the train we've put together. So let's have a closer look. So as I said before, we have the locomotive at the front, and then the economy class carriage. The first one here, the only one with a coupling like this that can actually be connected to a locomotive, so make sure it's pointed into the right direction. So second class is called economy class. The first carriage, you may notice, has no doors on this end. This is because this carriage is actually a family carriage. On this end there is what is called the children's cinema. It's a screen with a seating area, and kids can sit there and watch children's TV. And on this side here, instead of an entrance, there's an area where parents can leave the pushchairs and prams. So there we have some more economy class carriages. If you want to, we can actually take a look inside. So there we are. There's some screens at the top, and at the end of each carriage they show you information about on-time arrival. There's a moving map like on an aeroplane where you can see your progress. There's information about connecting trains and all sorts of things, obviously speed and things like that as well. Some reading lights above, and areas where you can leave your luggage. Right, after that we come to this carriage here. Let's go to the inside. It is marketed as a buffet car, but it's actually a bit more than that. First, we do indeed have a small restaurant area. As you can see here, there's the menu. The kitchen itself is closed at the minute. If we walk through here, we come to an area specifically designed for disabled people with wheelchairs. So this area is for wheelchairs. There's a disabled toilet through this door here, a large one, and these doors have ramps that can be extended. If we go around the corner here, we come to this area here called Info Point, and this is where people can go and find out about connecting trains, tickets, schedules, and things like that. Next we have the business class. Go have a look inside. It's actually not dissimilar to economy. It's just leather seats, and the seats a bit wider. And then finally we have the premium class, which is here, also called first class. So these are actually individual compartments. These are electric seats. They can be adjusted with leg rests and all sorts of things, reading lights, again the screens. The whole train is equipped with Wi-Fi and points where you can charge your mobile devices. So it's really a long distance train. One of the things you might wonder is, where can I drive this train? Well, in the real world, these trains are used pretty much all across Europe. They're based in Austria, so they normally connect through Vienna, but they can be found all the way up to Frankfurt. I've seen them in Hamburg, I've seen videos of them in Italy, they go to Hungary, the Czech Republic, obviously all across Austria. They go to Zurich. They connect a lot of capitals and major cities across Central Europe, really. In terms of train simulator, at this moment in time there are 3 routes where this train can be used. One being the 3 country corner route, where the train is actually seen quite regularly. There's a 2-hour interval on that route between services in both directions. Then we have the Munich-Augsburg route. It's a bit of a tricky one. They do drive that route, but actually what they do is they go from Munich to Frankfurt, and they do not stop in Augsburg. They actually would leave Munich and go all the way, I think it's Nuremberg. But you can use it and just put in an unscheduled stop in Augsburg. And the other one is Munich-Rosenheim. Again, the train doesn't actually stop in Rosenheim. It starts off in Salzburg in Austria and goes all the way non-stop to Munich. But if you use an intercity schedule, it's sort of semi-realistic. Right, there's one more thing I'd like to talk about in this video, and that is the following. As you know from previous videos, whenever you start up the train, you find yourself facing backwards. Well, you find yourself in the back-facing cab, and then once you've done a few things, you need to swap cabs so you look into the correct direction, as I've done here. Now, due to the nature of Train Simulator, the Train Simulator will now believe that we are actually driving backwards. In a sense, that doesn't really do anything. Everything works as it should. There are just 4 buttons that are reversed now. If you sometimes go to the outside view, you might be used to pressing 2 and expecting to see the locomotive. If I press 2 now, you see that I'm actually at the back of the train. And if I press 3, I'm jumping to the front. So those 2 buttons are reversed because, again, Train Simulator thinks that this is the front and this is the back. It's just one of those things. I'm afraid there's no way around it. You just have to get used to that. The other 2 buttons that are reversed are those here. These are used to stick your head out of the locomotive. So if you would press this one, you would expect to look out the left hand side, but this is now reversed. So if I press it, as you can see, we are on the right, and again if I press this one, we are on the left. I'm afraid there's not much we can do about that. It's just the way Train Simulator works. I thought I pointed out just to make sure people understand that this is something we are aware of, and it's just part of the package. It's not a bug or an error as such. Right, this was a short in-depth look at the Just Trains Railjet Advanced. I hope you enjoyed it and found some of the information useful. There's going to be a lot more information about the product in the included manual. Right, I hope I see you next time round. Until then, safe driving. Bye bye.